Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Talk Tech, where I try to make technology feel a little less intimidating and a lot more useful in everyday life. Today's episode is all about simple tech tips that actually protect you. Not the scary stuff, not the overwhelming stuff, just real things you can use right now to feel more confident in using your phone or mobile device. Today, we're talking about a quick way to disable Face ID. The truth about TSA and your phone, and a few simple tips to keep your information safe, particularly when you travel. So let's jump in and start with something I think everyone should know, especially if you travel regularly like me. Most of us use Face ID. I know I do. It's fast, convenient, and yes, it's secure. But here's a situation people don't think about. What if someone pressures you to unlock your phone? Face ID works just by looking at you. And here's where this trick comes in. Here's what you do. Press and hold the side buttons for about 2 seconds. You'll see the power screen appear. Now here's the important part. At that moment, Face ID is disabled. Even if someone puts the phone in front of your face, it will not unlock. The only way back in is your passcode. So if you ever feel uncomfortable, this is your quick nope buttons. Just press those buttons. Simple, fast, and you're back in control. Now let's talk about something I hear about all the time. Can TSA see my apps? Are they scanning my phone? Should I be worried? Short answer, no. Most of what you've heard is media hot air, not reality. So let's clear this up. The Transportation Safety Administration, the TSA, focuses on physical security. They are not scrolling your phone. They are not reading your messages. They are not checking your apps. When your phone goes through the scanner, it's being checked like any other physical objects, not your personal data. Now there's a small nuance. Sometimes during international travel, the border agents, yes, those border agents on the news, not TSA, may ask to see your phone. That is extremely rare for most travelers. I've gone through many times and never been asked. In fact, I have global entry, and the last time it took me less than 2 minutes to go through and get to baggage claim. Yes, I have nothing to hide. I'm a U.S. passport holder, but it's good to know the difference. Remember, TSA is about screening. Border control is about entry. 2 different roles. So if you've been stressing about all of this, take a deep breath. That's not what's happening at security and likely not happening at border control either. But if you're worried, feel free to delete your social media apps off your phone temporarily. Now let's talk about what actually matters when it comes to protecting yourself in general. Number 1, use a passcode, not just Face ID. Face ID is convenience. Your passcode is your backup. Number 2, turn off lock screen previews. If your texts pop up on your screen, anyone nearby can read them. Instead, set previews to when unlocked. That keeps your messages private. Number 3, use airplane mode when needed. If you're in a crowded place and your phone is acting strange, turning on airplane mode disconnects everything instantly. Very important. Number 4, avoid public Wi-Fi for anything. Checking your bank account on airport Wi-Fi? Let's not do that. Never, ever use public Wi-Fi. Use cellular data or a virtual provider network, VPN, if you have one. And trust me, everyone should have a VPN on their phone or mobile device. They're not expensive. Keep Find My iPhone turned on. If your phone gets lost or decides to take its own vacation, you can locate it or lock or erase it remotely. Now, let's do a quick round of tech myth versus Tech reality. Myth. Someone can hack your phone just by being near you. Reality. Very, very unlikely. Most scams happen because of links or messages, not proximity. However, this is starting to happen a bit more, so just be aware of your surroundings when you're on your phone. Myth. You have to turn off your phone on a plane. Reality. Airplane mode is enough. Your phone is not bringing down the aircraft. Myth. Face ID is unsafe. Reality. It's actually very secure. You just need to know how to control it, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. So here's a takeaway from today. Technology doesn't have to be complicated to be powerful. Sometimes just one shortcut, one setting, one simple habit that makes all the difference. And Face ID trick? That's the one I want you to remember, because confidence with your technology isn't about knowing everything. It's about knowing the right things. So if this was helpful, share it with a friend, especially someone who travels. Remember that smart tech makes for smarter and safer adventures. And as always, remember to think before you click on anything. Thanks for watching and stay tuned. Well, welcome to Let's Talk Tech. You know, I really love bringing you this show and finding ways to input technology into your day-to-day routine. And I love having Paul Ortiz on my show because he's the man in the know right now about your internet and your TV and all those things. So thank you, Paul, for joining me today.
Well, thanks for having me once again. I appreciate it.
Great. So I see a lot of information on a regular basis about all the different options for people to learn more, from setting up their TVs with the new system to, just learning about it in general. So could you tell me a little bit about where we're at right now with what I know I see so much?
Right. We've been really fortunate because we have so many communication tools in our community. You have the newspaper, it comes out every week. We have our blasts that come out every week, and we have our television station, of course, Village Television. And then we have a magazine. So when people tell us that, oh, we haven't heard about this before, we're kind of like, wow. But, they're enjoying traveling, playing pickleball, playing golf. So, we get it. But there's been so much community outreach. And, one of the reasons we chose Ting was because of their marketing and community engagement part. So we've had some wonderful ambassadors join them that are residents of ours. And actually, they're doing an event this afternoon or this evening at 5:30. It's a music, outdoor patio kind of thing. So we've been out there, and not only is the website, there for all the residents, but, we're kind of reaching out and going out into the community. We were over at the History Center. If you remember that big parking lot over there.
Oh, yes.
We just set up camp over there and put up a tent, and all of a sudden people started driving by and they'd see us and, what are you guys doing? And, explain to them some of those things. So the outreach, I think, has been going very well. We've had, if you can believe this, we've sent 24,000 emails already and we've only done half the community. But you imagine, supposedly there's only about 17 or 18,000 people here. But somehow we've sent 24,000 emails, and
Wow.
we've sent out 7,000 text messages to people, and we've called 22,000 times.
Wow, that's amazing.
It
That's
is.
but thank you for not text messaging me.
Right. Yeah.
I get enough of that. But yeah, that's wonderful. But you're right. I mean, we've talked about this many times before about how just people need different methods to get information. Everybody digests their information at a different pace from different spots. It's kind of like going to different restaurants, or going different places. And the fact that you still have the physical globe and the magazine is something that a lot of other areas don't have.
Right. And what's so important during all this communication, and actually I've spent the last 2 days cleaning up a lot of data, is that residents need to make sure that their information is correct with resident services. So what does that mean? That means that the phone number that you're going to answer and the email that you will answer, is registered with the resident services. So we don't want your Hotmail that you never look at or never use, or a phone number you never look at, never answer, because that's how we're calling people to say, hey, we're ready for your installation. We're ready for your direct TV to come to your home. So one of the biggest things is making sure that your email and your phone number are current, and that way we can contact you. And it's not like what we had with the political campaigns that we just had where we're getting
Mhm.
text messages constantly.
Right.
It's your 60-day, it's your 30-day, it's your 21, and that's when we communicate with you. And then finally, 3 days, we'll tell you, okay, we're ready. You're either going to get installed in the morning or in the afternoon, and we let you choose.
Okay. So when you text message, are there are hyperlinks or no hyperlinks?
No, it's basically, are you
Just a
ready?
message.
Yeah, yes, we're ready to do your install. And then they have a contact information. The scheduler will then ask you, well, would you like, August 1st in the morning or the afternoon?
Okay.
And people
Yeah.
seem to actually are welcoming that. So, it's obviously a lot quicker.
No, I love that.
It's not
I know
cost,
sometimes when people get links, they're leery about clicking any links, which they should be.
right,
But I just wanted to clarify if anybody's listening about that, this is the information you should expect to see
right.
on there, and that's good. I'm sure everybody's still super busy, but my goodness, we've been on this for several months now. So how far along are we?
We're doing okay. We're behind pace, and everybody will tell you that. The boards are very nervous about us being able to make it as we're supposed to at the end of the year. And, we have over 5,000 people with Ting Internet at this point.
Oh,
And
wow.
we're seeing an uptick as we start to move forward. And there's been dips and we're trying to figure out, okay, why are we slowing down? We
Mm-hmm.
have enough crews out there. Yes, we do. We actually have, crews to match what we did, say 100 installs, and now we're doing like 50. So what we started thinking about in the last couple of weeks is exactly what we were talking about is communication, is that people don't there's no urgency for them right now to let us in their door because they have
Right.
West Coast internet. And then we kind of talked about we had tax season just a little while ago. 10 to 15% of people, even if they're getting a refund, don't even submit their taxes till tax day because we're
True.
all procrastinators. So, a lot of it is like, look, if for us to succeed, you need your information to be correct and you need to respond to the scheduler when they're trying to get the installation done. And we've had actually refusals. People said, we're not going to let you in. Okay. Or they just give us some bogus email address that nobody would look at. So those have been some challenges, but the construction is going extremely well. We're
Okay.
already to Clubhouse 4, and the next project for us in the next couple of weeks, and when this airs, is that we're actually bringing our fiber up El Toro Road into Gate 14 and then hit across the street. So
Wow.
when we don't have to knock on doors, the construction is going very well. But
Well,
once we get there, it's in the door is getting very difficult.
I guess that's going to be what I want to say to my audience right now is that if you wait till the last minute, you might not get it, and you might be potentially without something if you really, really procrastinate. But
Mhm.
I think that everybody in part of the outreach is, of course, that we're going to do it, and we're hoping that you'll do this area at this time, to make it easier. I don't know if that's a possibility, but like
It
gate
is.
like this book block of addresses is where we're going to be working.
That's exactly what's been happening. Actually, Cole, your producer, produced a wonderful commercial for us. And the commercial clearly states, like, if you live in gates 5 and 6, call our scheduler now and we will make sure you're on that line. And then we'll switch it to the other gates as we go. But
Yeah.
what we're finding, talking to the scheduler yesterday, was that people that live in gate 10 are going, when are you guys coming here? I want to schedule my appointment. Well, there's a lot of construction and it needs to happen. So, there's been some of that. They're not getting the part that says, hey, if you live in gates 5 and 6.
If we could just take a short break and show that commercial, and
Let's
then
do that.
yeah, so we'll be right back with Paul, and we're going to show you this commercial.
Ready to get your Ting fiber internet installed? If you live within these gates, you're eligible to schedule your installation now. Enjoy installation and equipment at no cost to you. Don't wait. Call our Ting scheduling line at 714-263-1826 today to get connected. For more information and helpful ways to stay connected in your community, visit Ting's Laguna Woods Village page.
Well, welcome back. And if you are in gate 5 and 6, I hope you're listening well. And we're going to talk about now just some of the work that's going on in gate 5 and 6, particularly as it relates to the garden villas, because, those are obviously a different configuration. So Paul, can you tell me a little bit about what's happening in those?
Yeah, the garden villas are, large buildings. They sometimes have 22 to 24 units in them. They're 3 stories high. So the third floor is really the challenging part because for safety as well as those ladders don't want to go up that high. We don't want them up that.
Right.
And then if you know the garden villas, there's a lot of them that are on the golf course, right on the sidewalk. And of course, that terrain is, a little different. It's not
Yeah.
exactly flat parking lot like we see in some of the other units we see. So, we're working with the building captains and the Garden Villa Association and making sure that we're doing the project, especially the construction and the pre-wires safely. And then as the installation happens, that we're notifying people on each of those floors. So, that's been a challenge, but so far the residents have been accepting, as we're there, getting their installation done. And then once we're done with the whole area up there in that gate 5 and 6 region, we'll be heading over to gate 14. And those are a lot of 3-story buildings as well. But, some of the challenges, again, is just getting to that third floor. And, what are the chances that 8 people on the third floor are ready to get their installation done even that day? So just trying to coordinate through the building captains and through our construction team to make sure that everyone, as much as possible, can get installed while the lift is there. They actually physically use a lift to get us to that exterior part of the building.
Well, I think it's important to note here that, that residents also need to help you help them.
Right.
So, that goes back to what you said about getting scheduled. But, this is a huge project, and chances are you're probably not going to ever encounter this in the remaining time you live in Laguna Woods, unless you're unless you're that 50-year-old buyer. So, help everybody get this done so
Right.
that we don't get, at the end where there's a bunch of people that want to do this. Do you have many, like if there's an empty unit or it's like an escrow, are you going in on those and getting that done like as one of the first things?
Well, it's funny you say that. So there's 416 vacant manors right now.
Oh, wow.
And there's even one manor that's been vacant for 35 years. So there's a lot of trust sitting on vacant manors. So we don't actually even mess with those right now because they're hard
Okay.
to get a hold of. And a lot of them have been empty for a while. And then again, we would need to get, authorization. We would have to get security involved. We would have to need a representative from the person's home. And when we can't even get a hold of them, it just sits vacant. So, we already know there's going to be probably about 300 to 400 that we're just going to skip.
Okay.
And kind of like what you talked about, the last thing we want are people to just wait, 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 because when West Coast Internet finally turns off their signal, and when broadband turns off their cable television, we don't want thousands of calls to resident services. We can't handle that. So that's why it's important that people today get it done. And it is a GRF project. It's like as if GRF was putting a new sink in your home,
Hmm.
we need to put it in. And in order for that to happen, and we last did it 27 years ago, and you just mentioned it, but that was the key of building fiber is that the fiber in the ground will stay, and then 10
Yeah.
years from now, the equipment at your home and the equipment at the broadband building would change. But right now, we really need everybody's cooperation to make sure we get it done properly.
Okay, and I think I've probably asked this before, but in case people haven't seen before, about how long from the time they show up at your door till everybody, how long are they in your manor
About
doing the
40
work?
minutes. It's
Okay.
actually a pretty quick process. So basically, they'll get a 60-day notice, and then they'll see people with ladders climbing around the building. And then once all that wiring is put in place, then the installation team will schedule you. And some of those installers are incredibly good and fast, but on average, it's about 40 minutes.
Okay. So
And then
you're
you're on
not
your
going to
way.
be really inconvenienced at all. I mean, that's you can just keep
No.
doing your normal things. So I also know we talked about there's external help to like come in and make sure everything's after the hardware's in. Then you can, if you're not comfortable doing the next steps, which is, hooking up your Wi-Fi's to your
Right.
devices, you do have someone that can be hired in to do that, correct?
Well, we were working with the PC Club and Rise, the resident internet service experts. They're residents that have technology experience that are helping people connect their laptop. The biggest issue we're having is printers. I tell people printers are bipolar. One day they're working and they're happy, and the next day they're doing something else. And that's been a challenge, and it's a challenge no matter who your internet provider is. But Rise
That's a
is a great
printer issue
resource.
because I have it right now at my house. I can print in another room from my computer, but the computer in that room doesn't talk to that
Right.
that printer right next to it.
Exactly, and that's common throughout, no matter what your internet provider is. So those have been a challenge, but you're right, there are resources like that. And so we're encouraging people to use Rise, and there is a fee for that. And I'm encouraging people like your grandchildren, whoever comes to visit with you, get them to help you out, whether it's going to be hooking up your devices, and then, as DirecTV starts to roll out, they could be very helpful with that as well. But Ryan
Yeah.
has done pretty well. They're actually saying we're doing such a good job of communicating that they're not getting the calls they expected. But it's a good and bad thing, right? So, it means people are getting it done somehow on their own. And
Hmm.
we always say if you're able to log into the Wi-Fi at the hotel in Maui that you're at, you're able to log in your devices to your own home network.
Well, and that's a good point. Is it the initial thing is it's more frightening to think about it than it is to do it. But you're always afraid, what if? So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Your grandkids or your kids come over to take a visit, it's going to take them 10 minutes to do what they need to do to make sure you're all there and you turn your TV on and you've got your direct TV up on the screen or whatever. And that's a final point I want to make too, is that watching village television will be different. It will be an app that
Right.
you will open to watch village TV. You'll get the same programming that you're getting right now. It's coming through the air instead of the little thing on the wall.
Instead of the copper cable.
That's
You're
right.
right. So what we're going to see and what we're asking people is like, you're going to download your DirecTV app, and then you're going to download your village television, and you can do both those things today. And then once you get your credentials, your DirecTV is working properly. And then usually you have Netflix and your Amazon Prime as well, and YouTube. Because
Yeah.
you can subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch any of our shows and your shows whenever you like.
Right. On
So
demand. It's
yeah,
always there,
right.
anywhere. But and I think we mentioned the app you can access from anywhere, which is kind of cool because if you're somewhere else and maybe you spend a couple months in another location and you want to see what's going on in the village, or watch this day or whatever, you're able to do that, which is really beneficial.
Right.
Because again, it comes back to we all want to know what's going on. It's just how do we get the information? And of course, this whole project's intent is to make sure you have multiple ways to get the information. You have multiple ways to get help. You have multiple ways to get this will be a faded memory in a couple years.
Yeah, I hope so. And then one of the things about part of the communication process with DirecTV is that they're actually hiring somebody to be here on site
Oh,
3 days a week, and they're going to teach or just take Q&A and take walk-ins. So if DirecTV is kind of a scary thing for some people, but it's really just downloading an app. And they're going to walk you through the setup process if you want and answer all your questions. And of course, we're having events at the PAC that's going to start July 16th.
okay.
And we'll have presentations and education, and then we'll have another event. I think they're even giving away, I wanted prizes, so there'll be prizes to give
Prizes.
away and raffles. That's
Everybody likes prizes.
exactly. That'll be fun too. But be sure and watch for DirecTV as we start to roll it out. And then the first week in August, a block of DirecTV units and credentials will go to the neighborhoods that we are serving first. And then
Okay.
we'll start to churn it all at the same time. We don't want to just drop 13,000 homes at once. So be a few hundred, 1,000, and then 1,000, and then everybody will have it until August till the end of November is our time to make sure everybody has their equipment and their app ready to go.
Ready to go. All right. Well, this has been always very informative, and we love this. And I think I saw something where you just celebrated another momentous anniversary of your time at VMS because you started when you were in kindergarten. But we appreciate all the hard work that you do for this community on a regular basis, not only on this project, but just in general of keeping, Village Television and all the programming. Again, I'm always all over the place, and I go to different states and everywhere. Nothing's like what we have. Nothing. So the village is very fortunate, and we appreciate it. And thank
Well,
you again.
I want to say is that I feel fortunate because honestly, the team that we have at Village Television, they're incredible people that care about the community and the television station especially. And then our advertising people have done an incredible job for the last 23 years. And then our broadband people, are actually sunsetting too with the business, and people don't realize that. And
Mhm.
without their expertise and efforts, all the way to the very end of this project, I wouldn't be able to be as successful, and this community wouldn't be able to be as successful as we roll this project out. So there's a lot of people that help and get things done, and we couldn't do it without them.
Well, and good leadership from you. So, all right. Well, thank you, Paul, and I'll let you get back. I know you're out and about in the community checking on the projects on a regular basis. So if you see Paul, say hi.
Definitely.
Thanks so much for spending time with me today on Let's Talk Tech. I hope today's episode helped make technology feel a little more approachable and maybe even a little more fun. Remember, you're never too old to learn something new. Click the wrong button, fix it, and keep going. Honestly, half of technology is just about being brave enough to try. Be sure to follow and share the show with friends and family who could use a little extra tech confidence in their lives. You can also find more tips, tutorials, and updates online between episodes. And remember, as always, think before you click and be kind when posting online.